All right. Thank you all again for getting on this BC training call on a Saturday. This is for GAFE Pizza Inc. I've got myself and the opener on the account, Vince McLaughlin, and we have some of our benefit counselors on as well. I'm going to do a brief overview of what we want to see as far as the enrollment goes. And I'm recording this because there's a couple benefit counselors that are not on right now, and I just want to make sure we give all the information so when they listen to the recording, they get all the information as well. So first, I'm just going to go through the guidelines, and then Vince, if you need to jump in, just cut me off.
Yeah, let me cut you off right now just before we even get started. So guys, welcome to the call, number one, and sorry for the call being so late. I think in the fourth quarter, everybody they drag their feet at the end of fourth quarter because they're so tired of being in the fourth quarter, man. You know, I know, Emmy, you had been working some long hours this week, and we all are. And so it's been a last minute thing. I think I told Dave that we didn't get the dental offering till like Thursday night late. Didn't think there was going to be one. So last minute stuff from the broker, preempted last minute stuff for us. So I appreciate you taking up this short Saturday, and we'll go from there. So fire away, Ronnie.
Okay, great. I'll make this fairly quick. We'll just go over the guidelines, and then I'm going to show you the links, how to get on to the EASE website, do a quick run through, and then after, at the end, if anybody, feels that they need to run their own test employee, I'll create one for you, and you can, do that on your own over the weekend. So I want to make sure that everybody's prepared. If they haven't used EASE before, come Monday morning, they're not seeing this for the first time. Interestingly enough, this group is going to be all post-tax, so we don't have to worry about discussing post and pre-tax options and Section 125 stuff. So that's one less thing you guys are going to have to worry about. But this is going to be a core enrollment with MetLife voluntary benefits. As Vince just said, Thursday night at 5:30, they added a dental plan through VSP and through Guardian, and a vision plan through VSP. We're going to be enrolling next week on Monday, and then Wednesday through Friday. The only day we're not enrolling is on Tuesday. I can't remember why, but Tuesdays apparently doesn't work very well for the company. There's probably about 280 employees, and there's a lot of stores. They're kind of like Domino's pizza stores, but they broke it out into 6 locations. So you're going to have about employees from 4 to 6 stores going to one of 6 locations, and that's how it was scheduled. After the on-site enrollments of next week, unless we end up adding any days to this, because sometimes that does happen, we will be doing a call center follow-up, but this is only for employees who were out sick, or there's a medical reason for whatever, it has to be a pretty good reason for them not to attend their on-site one-on-one session that they scheduled for. So
okay, Maureen, let me pop in real quick right there.
Sure.
You guys are going to get potentially, and I'll be out there for the first day to get things going. This is a very cooperative group, but they were not cooperative on days that we could do it and locations that we could do it when it came to that stuff. So with that said, you're going to get the question, and they're going to come up to you and not me if I'm not there, and they're going to say, well, if Jimmy's not taking the benefits, does he have to be there? Or you'll run into a 26-year-old that'll come up to you and say, I'm on my parents' benefits. So I'm going to ask you to very diplomatically just tell them that everybody has to be seen, just as long as we're doing a consistent message, because you might have a manager going over to Emmy or Eddie and saying that, and you guys, Jennifer and Dave, don't even know that's going on. So I want the message to be consistent about mandatory. Every benefit eligible employee is seen, and we've ran into that problem a little bit with prior. We have another company that we dealt with that's about 3 times the size of this one, and that was an issue. So just FYI, guys. So go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, this and one of the reasons why they brought us into this had to do with the ACA reporting. They're trying to be in compliance. So that's why if anybody should ask saying, well, I'm not taking it anyway, it doesn't matter because we need to capture their waiver. So just let them know, like, hey, you're not obligated to take anything, but we need to capture your waiver. It's for compliance for your company, and it's required for your company to get this done. It has to be offered whether they decline it or not. and that's the main reason for doing that. So the call center I was referring to are only for extreme circumstances, because we don't want, and by the way, I have not gave out a leave behind call center flyer, and I won't. And most of the employees don't even know that exists, because we don't want it to turn into people finding out there's a call center and go, I'll just call in next week, the following week. We don't want that happening. Call centers only reserved for, people out sick, people who legitimately couldn't, set an appointment, and those people will be given that number to call in. Everybody else, no, if they're scheduled. And by the way, I'm going to show you the schedule. It's pretty impressive. We have about 226 people signed up on the scheduler, and I just added a day yesterday. So it's going to probably be over 230 that are definitely going to be, coming in. So you guys are going to be kept pretty busy. Alrighty, so I'm just going to scroll down here. We did do some meetings with the managers, just high-level, meetings, so they're on board. And here's the enrollment schedule. This is on the guidelines for everybody to see. On Monday, everybody's going to the same location, which I think will be really good, because then you can, help each other out, and Vince will be there to make sure that everything, gets kicked off properly. So all 4 of you will be at the Indio location on Monday. Nobody's going out on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have 2 locations going. We have Emmy and Yvonne going to Montebello, and we have David and Jennifer going to Fontana. On Thursday, we have 2 locations. We got Emmy and Eddie going to Victorville, and David and Jennifer going to Buena Park. On Friday, we have 2 people. We have David and Jennifer going to 29 Palms. Emmy's going to go back to Indio to do cleanup. And by the way, I added one more day. There's going to be Victorville that has been added on Friday as well that Eddie's going to go to. This was some guidelines I pulled up that I'd already sent you guys before I made a couple of updates to it. Everybody in the database is eligible. So we received a census, a pretty good one. It's on an average of 30 hours per week, and they have an ACA guy who does the census and double check to see, who has to be able to be offered these benefits. And so anybody in the census or who's in the database is eligible. So you don't have to question that. However, if you should get an employee who is not in the database, let me know. There's probably a reason. Either they're part-time and not eligible yet, or they haven't met their waiting period. But that doesn't mean that since we uploaded the census, there might not be a sprinkle of employees that have since become effective. But I think Greg was pretty proactive, Vince, where he looked forward to see who would be eligible by January 1st. So you guys should be good as far as that goes.
Yeah, you guys will still run into that one that'll come up to you and say, hey, do you think I'm eligible? And they're not on the list, and I'm supposed to get my benefits on December or January 1, and you look in there and they're not in there. Well, that's an immediate phone call to Ronnie, and we'll be able to assist with that, you guys, and that's going to be your first line of stuff to do. I want you guys to make sure that you're keeping track of who you're seeing personally. And I also need you to report back to us, because sometimes, you guys know you're all pros, a lot of years of experience on the phone call today. You will have someone come up and say, well, I know Billy can't make it. He was supposed to be here. Well, Billy needs to be sent over. Your information about Billy needs to be given to Ronnie. And we're going to be developing a list for that call center post haste after you guys are done. If that thing grows a lot of legs to it, and we get a bunch of people, we might add a day where we're going to come back, and we'll do that as we're doing it. But I need you guys to report that stuff as you see it, and they come to you. You guys are the trusted ones. So I just want to make sure you guys knew about that before we moved on. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Okay, and also we did
question. As long as you're on eligibility, number 3, domestic partners, you require the affidavit.
They did not mention anything about affidavits for that, no.
Well, and Amy, that's a good question. You know the rules. Or is that Jennifer? Was that you that was asking, or Amy?
Yes.
Yeah, they're not going to have to provide that to you. I'll get that clear. If we didn't get it clarified now, we'll get it clarified. If they can see them, they can see them. They're a pretty nice, cooperative, supportive company to their employees. So we'll look into it if we haven't done it already. Bonnie, did they cross that
We just need
bridge
to
with
be
you?
able to tell them HR is going to require you to get that affidavit if that's the case. That's all.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
that's not going to go that. They're not.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to require it.
And please, if there's something that we haven't covered or there's not in my instructions or you can't reach me, just write it down and I'll find out for you, because there's so many moving parts to this. And, you know, the brokers have really done the best that they can. But like I said, they added 2 plans on Thursday at, 5:30 p.m. So there's still some things that were, that were not covered. And if it's not and you're not sure, just tell the employee, let me get back to you. I need to find out. And, just take their name, take down what the issue is, and then just come to me. And if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer. I'll call the group, or I'll call the broker. But if you're not sure about something, just let them know you're really not sure, and then just take the information down and then provide it to me. And also, since we did do 30-minute time slots, if you think somebody's going to go, completely over that, you might need to set up a time for them to come back. Just get their name and their information, because we don't want to start off. I mean, most of these people are going to sign off on most of the stuff, and I think you'll be done with them in 10, 15 minutes and have some breathing room between people. But you always have that one person who has, 1,001 questions going on. We just want to make sure that you don't end up pushing everybody back, and then it snowballs into everybody's coming in late, because some of these people are coming from other stores. We only have the 30 minutes. So if you don't think you're going to finish the enrollment, I mean, if it's 5 minutes, that's one thing. But if it's something where you're not sure about something, somebody's not on the computer, you call me and I'm not available for whatever reason. I should be. I'll be here all day Monday. I'll be your lifeline. But even I need to use the restroom on occasion. So if you call me and I don't pick up the phone and it gets past the point of time for you to be able to answer a question for the employee, get the name, number, apologize, say, you know what, I really need to talk to my coordinator, and we'll have to get back to you and finish this at a later date, because I'd rather have one person be a cleanup, a follow-up, or a call center than have the rest of the day a whole bunch of employees, sitting around getting upset because they're past their appointment time. So, all righty. Here are the plans being offered. We've got Kaiser. There's only 3 Kaiser plans, and you're going to wonder why I have all this information on here. The reason is because the SBCs have the normal DHMO 1030, easy enough, and that's what I originally built into EASE. However, the group is using what's called a restaurant trust form. EASE built it out for them. So instead of using like an EASE application, an Anthem application, it's a custom design application for the trust that is mapped in EASE, which they had done specially for their account. However, whoever designed that application and named some of these programs named them a little bit differently. And for the mapping to work properly, I had to go back in there and revise the names. So if an SBC says DHMO 1030 and you don't see that in EASE the name is XD2202. So I just did this as a cheat sheet for you. I think you guys are going to be pretty clear on what plan is what. And honestly, when it pulls up in the benefit menu for the employee, they're just going to look at it and see the price, and that's how they're probably going to elect what they're going to take anyway. But just know that's why there's 2 different names here. I wrote, what it might be on an SBC and what you're used to seeing, and what, is going to be on the application that's in EASE. So it's just the 5 plans, 3 Kaiser, 2 Anthem, and yes, the arbitration agreement and everything that needs to be signed is already mapped on that form for you, especially for Kaiser. They're also offering a MEC, 2 different MEC plans. These are that limited ACA plans that they kind of have to offer to everybody. And one of them is completely, 100% employee paid. And the MEC Plus, the ER pays 50% of the employee's portion only. And Vince, if I'm correct about that, they don't expect too many people to take the MEC plan. I don't think they even want us really pushing the MEC plan, but it's there, and we still need to get people to sign off. Now, if somebody does take the MEC plan, this is the only application that's not mapped in EASE, and they're supposed to have those manual applications on site for you. So if somebody does actually want to take it, have them fill out the manual application. You're still going to take the election in EASE. You're still going to select if they waive it or if they, elect it. But if they elect it, they're still going to have to fill out a manual application. And that's the only manual application we'll need to do on this account, which is great. Voluntary benefits.
They had,
MetLife.
guys, hang on a second, hang on,
Sure.
Lonnie. They had 15 people on the MEC plan last year, you guys, so there's not gonna be a whole lot. When it comes to the medical, you guys, they're not trying to drive business with this. It's gonna be the people that are probably already on it will tell you. The people that aren't, if they're not, just make sure they know what they're declining without getting too detailed on the outline of coverage on the medical plans. But move on into this stuff and dental and the vision, because that's kind of the industry, so to speak, and this particular industry is. So we're not going to harp on the medical and why aren't you taking it and stuff like that. And you guys, that we're not tax people either. So the only thing I want you to stress to them in good old California that they are offering a medical plan, whether it be a MEC or a full-blown plan, that if they're on covered California, they'll lose their subsidy. So just kind of warn them on that and then just move on. Okay, just go ahead, Ronnie.
Okay, and the MetLife. By the way, the MetLife are the plans that are eligible for that bonus. And if I'm correct, Vince, it's business written per day, so it's not based on an average
Right.
of over 4,500 in premium per day on the MetLife plan. Is anything over that, that's when the bonus kicks in. So MetLife is really what they want us to drive. Again, at the last minute, they added a dental plan and a vision plan. It's in there. It's on that same trust form that's in the computer, so you don't have to do any paperwork for that. I also stuck in there the compensation. And Pat Anderson from our office, he's the one who reached out to probably everybody and sent you the packet, the read me first and how to fill it out. If you have any questions regarding the per diem expenses, please forward that to Patrick, because he's a little bit more familiar with that than I am. And the bonus is the $125 per day for production over $4,500 of the MetLife plans. And at the very, very bottom, Vince, are we going to, because I have not sent this to everybody, are we going to use this post-enrollment survey form? Because I think for Mars, the problem was it had colonial all over it. I don't know if we ever designed one that was a non-colonial.
You know what? I'd love to. I wish we could have had one, but we're not. So let's go back on the comp for you guys, because I know this is a big issue. So there was two things that happened with the account, guys. One is, we're all out in India on Monday, and that sucks, right? Well, I'm traveling farther than all of you guys, so I'll be out there as well. But make sure you're keeping track of your mileage. The 4,500 a day, you guys, is a daily thing, not like Ronnie said, an average thing. And I think the bonus is 150, not 125. I'm not sure. Whatever Pat sent you guys out there will be the bonus. So we'll look at it. But keep track of your mileage, because we're all traveling. But the good thing is on Tuesday we're not traveling. So that's one concession that we got them to say, hey, look, if we're running all the way out here, our people are in LA and San Bernardino and stuff like that. So that's why we have Tuesday off, is because they have a managers meeting that I spoke at about a month and a half ago, and they have them every Tuesday or something. I'm not really sure. So that's why we're not enrolling on Tuesday, but it's good for us. We can get a day off. So that's why that's going that way. But that's that. Any other comp stuff, you guys, Pat Anderson is the guy to talk to, or call me, or one or the other. So go ahead, Ronnie.
Okay, I'm going to pass the links for a second, because we're going to go back to that. This is the end of the guidelines. These are the notes. Ease is set up, since you guys are going to be logging in with an employee login. Ease has this, and we can't stop it. It's an automatic generated email that goes to the employees that after they enroll, that basically says, hey, you just enrolled, policies, don't go into effect until the carrier processes them. If you would like to view your elections or make changes, click here. And then there's a green login button. We do not want them clicking on that button. There's no way for us to stop that from happening. So please, at the end, make this like a Memorex recorder. After every employee, just say, hey, you might get an email from Ease, with a button to click to view your benefits or to make any changes. Please disregard that. This group is agent assisted. That was designed for something else, and it's automatic. but not to go in there and make any changes. If they want to make any changes, they need to talk to a benefit counselor. We don't want anybody going in there and throwing everything up.
Well, we want them to go back to you guys in particular as well. So a couple of things about that, you guys. So when you're talking to your folks and you're, and if you've got a married couple that's not there, and we advocate couples coming in. So they were told that. So you might get a husband and wife walking in to see you, but we really advocate, hey, I got to go home. I got to talk to my wife. It's all good. Well, I want you to understand that that's okay in our world. And they can do that. They can go home, but they need to get back to you somehow, some way to finish that enrollment. Whether you got to go back in under that or not. So just making sure that we're doing the benefit education thing, we're doing the soft sell thing, and we're making sure that they're happy with their enrollment.
Question. This is Jennifer. Do you guys have husband and wives enrolled together, separate plans, or what?
Well, it's up to them. Jennifer, it's up to them when they're coming in. You'll probably see some husband and wives that work for the same company. And if they come in together that way and you need to do two people at the same time because it happens to be husband and wife and
you put
they
them,
happen to work together.
Put them on the same medical plan? Or do they have to enroll separately on the medical plan?
No, there needs to be one main insured. If you're talking about it, there's two employees that are a couple and they both work for the company. No, enroll the medical under one and waive under the other, and then it'll say waive reason. You'll just say on spouse's plan.
Okay. But if they wanted to be independent, could they? I mean, that's foolish, but could they?
Sure.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And by the way,
the thing to do, hang on, Ronnie. The thing to do in that scenario, Jennifer, is make sure it's cost feasible for them, So that's where we're going to have to go the extra yard. You'll probably have them for an hour, so instead of a half an hour. But that's fine, as long as it's being taken care of. That's all we care.
And by the way, in some cases, it might be cheaper to do it separately because the employer, if there's a portion that they pay for the employee only, then it is better to do it separately because then they get that discount. Run it both ways, because if an employee only amount is cheaper than an employee and spouse amount, and because they don't get the discount or any contribution by doing an employee spouse versus two separate employee policies, you'll know by the premium rates. So just look at the premium rates, see what the employee portion is, see what employee spouse amount is, and if the employee spouse amount is more expensive than two separate employee policies put together, then that's your answer right there.
It's their call, you guys, and that's the bottom line. It's their call. So.
And the good news is that regarding that email that I said that sends out to them and they hit the login, to view their benefits, they still have to put in their username and password, and they're not going to remember their username. So the chances of somebody going in there and actually making change on their own is going to be very slim to nothing, that they'd actually get, that far into the process. But just, kind of gloss over it a little bit, like, hey, you might get an email, please disregard it. It wasn't, we did age assistant enrollment, it doesn't apply to you, and just leave it at that. Because they might remember their password that they recreated, but they're not going to remember their username. So the chances of them doing it, it's going to be very slim. Also, you'll see I have some instructions here regarding finishing up the enrollment. I'm going to bypass that because I'm going to actually show you a couple of things. But please note that if anybody goes back in to look at anything at any time, you still have to recapture. If you make any changes, you still have to recapture the signature. It's like starting all over again. So just make sure if somebody comes back to you and you look at stuff in the system again, just go to the very end and just make sure to recapture, a signature before you.
Ronnie, you've got these links up here for the appointment schedule. Let's talk about that before you move on.
That was actually where I'm going to right now, and I've actually already popped it up, but I'll do it again to show you guys. You can do this right from the guidelines if you want. If you want to have this like shrunken down, right there on site, but you can just click on it. And it's going to take you right to the schedule. This is what was provided to all the managers. And this is really great because you can see who's coming in. And I did build out 30-minute breaks on every day that we have up here. Like here's Fontana, here are all the people scheduled, Montebello. So you can see they packed it in.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Really
and
good
guys,
job
I would
here.
put this up on your screen every day and set it off to the side as you're working on East Central, just so you'll know, and when you're talking with your fellow enrollment counselor, hey, is that Conception Martinez? Okay, I know I'm looking for Jose Rivera, that kind of a thing. But that's something we really want you to do, is keep that up every day if you can, and keep it off to the side so you'll know what's going on, and you also know when your break is. How about that?
Yeah, I put that in the middle of the day on most people, and when it's like 4 people, I did 2 and 2, so you're not all on break at the same time. So it'll be like 2 people, we'll have like that 30 minutes, and then the next half an hour it'll be another 2.
Dave, what's your question, Dave?
The question is on this schedule, is there a way to keep tally of who we've seen so you'll know who's, what the score is?
When you say the score, what do you mean? Like,
can we go in and mark somebody complete, like they've been seen or they were a no-show? Or
I have a solution to that for you, actually. Remember when I sent everybody an encrypted Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah.
This right here. You can add a little column right next to it, write comments, and you can say, seen, missed appointment, just use this.
Sweet.
Because then this way, if you guys send it to me, I can actually copy and paste and merge it together if it's on an Excel spreadsheet versus if you guys did it by hand and just took notes. So I would say, or please, I'm asking, please use this sheet to write notes. And this is going to be kind of like your Bible for the employees' logins. Please keep this confidential. Have it on your laptop or desktop, and then just have it shrunk down. So when the next person comes in, if you know that Bonner's coming in next, just scroll down by last name. It's in alphabetical order. Here's Arlene Bonner. This is Arlene's temporary user ID, and here's Arlene's password. And I'll show you how you do that right now. Here's
and guys, you know what? If everybody gets on board with that spreadsheet and forwards that to Ronnie at the end of their workday, that allows us also to get a list of the no-shows. And if I see that growing, Ronnie will be briefing me on that. And if that thing starts growing legs, then that'll be my cue to talk to the ownership of the company and tell them how things are going. I'll be reporting every day like everybody always does when they have a case. So I'll be reporting every day to the company, and I want to be able to report some pretty accurate data, saying this one didn't show, this one did. East Central has that capability, but I'd really love to hear it from the field because you guys are the key reason of our success. So I'm asking you guys to do that every day at the end of the workday, please.
It's going to be a little harder on Monday than Wednesday through Friday, because Wednesday through Friday is only 2 of you or 1 of you by yourself, so you'll know who's a no-show. Monday, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because 4 people are coming in at the same time because there's 4 different benefit counselors, and you don't know. Maybe the benefit counselor next to you saw that person. So if you guys can kind of get together and say, hey, you'll know if one of you won't be busy if somebody doesn't show. So just figure out who that no-show is and just make a comment on that. Because I mean, every slot is packed. So if 3 people come in versus 4, one of you is going to be just sitting there, and you'll know. And then just figure out who that person is, make the comment on that spreadsheet, and you're good to go. And that'll be really helpful. GAFE Pizza. I'm sorry, Vince.
No, go ahead. What I was going to say is, you guys, there's a real go-to girl out there in Indio to get us started, and she's very proactive, and that's why every one of those appointments are full, because she did a great job in that stuff. So I'll be conversing with her and giving her kind of a lay of the land and pointing her into the direction, and this is what they're doing, and I'm going to advocate her to go first, sit down with you guys and get it done. That way, when she's talking to other employees, she can kind of pave the way for us, and that's always a great methodology to use in enrollments. And she's a really nice lady. I can't recall her name right now, but she's cool, and we'll get that. That's the largest part of their company, obviously, is out in Indio. So go ahead, Ronnie. All
righty. I'm going to quickly go to the site to show it to you guys because I know it's Saturday, and I want to make sure that we, get this wrapped up for you really quickly. But I think if you guys all visually see it, it'll make more sense. And then I have one good piece of information I did not put on here that I want to make sure you guys know about. So bear with me. You can either copy and paste this to your web browser, or again, just like the slotted, you can just click on it. And this is going to bring you to how you're going to log into the employee. And this is exactly what you're going to see. The only difference is that I redid my password, but this is what you're going to do. You're going to look on your sheet. Oops, sorry, wrong sheet. Find that person, their username and password. You're going to type in their username here. In this case, this is one of my test employees. And I've already created a password for test. Now, for me, it's going to take me right to this screen. For you, the very first time, it's going to ask the employee to create a new password. So let them create a new password. You don't do it for them. They do it on their own. And then this will pop up. Just make sure that they remember their password in case they have to come back and make changes. So, get away here. So this is what you're going to see. Open enrollment. You're going to click on Manage Enrollment. This is the test employee. This is exactly what you're going to see for each employee that you see. You're going to start the enrollment. You're going to verify their personal information. Almost all of it will be in here for you. The only thing we don't have is dependents. And if they're planning on adding dependents, all you have to do is click Add Dependent and put the dependent information in. Pretty simple. Continue. Documents.
Better have that social security number on that kid. And if they don't, you got to talk to them about it. Okay, guys?
Yeah, if they're going to enroll them, yeah, they're going to require that for the medical. Right here, this is an employee acknowledgement with electronic signature disclosure. Now, since I already ran test employee, I've already done this, but it's going to ask you to click on it to read it and to do an electronic signature. This was asked by the broker that they know that all their information is going to be electronic and that they're acknowledging that. So this was very, very important. So when it pops up for you, the only difference is because I've already signed it earlier, it's going to ask you to click to sign. So you're going to do that. Medicare, everybody's young at this company. You shouldn't have to worry about that. Just click continue.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Question. What is their electronic signature? Birthday, combination, last name, first four letters?
No, it's either you're clicking a button or you're typing it in or using the mouse pad. I'll show you on a test employee. You can run through it. It's just an electronic signature. You're just clicking it. It'll be self-explanatory. When you see it, you'll go, oh, okay. Remember, this platform was designed for employees to self-enroll. Now, I still feel like the average employee would still get stuck on most of this, unless they're like in a techie industry. But if this was designed for self-enroll, we're hoping that, you guys as benefit counselors, that you're going to look at it and go, oh, okay. And it'll be kind of self-explanatory. In this case of Mr. Test employee and wife test, I have to delete this later. If you go in and if I give you test employee, please make sure you go back and you waive it. I'll go back in and I'll terminate the employees, but just in case I don't want a test employee actually getting medical insurance. But I was testing all the rates. So here's the medical. Here are the medical options, and these amounts are all per pay period. You just select the one they want to choose and move on. If you decline, it's going to ask you why. You can write, I have other coverage, the cost, other, not interested. And because I made a change, I'm going to have to re-sign now because, remember, I had already enrolled this person in medical. But since I made a change, anytime you go in the system, just in case, go to the complete sign forms and re-sign and click finish just to make sure.
Okay, hold it right there. Hold it right there, Ronnie. So guys, what's really important is there's a conflict between the lovely state of California and the lovely federal government, and that is on reporting, right? So everybody knows if you're getting your tax information this year, that the federal government is not saying it's mandatory to have coverage, and the state of California is saying they have coverage, okay? So that's none of our concern as far as our expertise. So don't go down that road. Just tell them flat out, but the company is still required to report, because there are over 100 employees, that if you're not getting your stuff from us, where are you getting it at? So please don't just blanketly go down to the bottom of that drop box and say, I don't care, I'm not running. Go scroll down the bottom.
Oh, you mean the other? Okay, I was doing that because it was
Yeah.
a custom plate. But
Yeah, don't go down and hit other, guys. Find out as you're moving out of, you're moving on because you're not enrolling the medical insurance. Just make sure the valid reason, because this is going to a CPA who's the same guy that's providing the list, who's keeping them compliant. And that's the name of the whole gig right here. And that's why we got hired to do a lot of this stuff. So, and we're making our money on the VB, as everybody knows in the room. So, just make sure you're being very accurate with that. So thanks, Ronnie. Go ahead.
no problem. By the way, even though I sent you guys the SBCs, if somebody has a question about a plan, I did put these hyperlinks in. Every plan, their SBCs have been connected, and you can just click on that hyperlink, and it's going to take you. So if somebody says, what's the deductible? What's the out-of-pocket? You don't have to go searching through the SBC. Just click on that, and it pulls it up for you. Easy peasy. How's that? So I did that for every benefit that's in here.
I know some of you guys want to have that sitting right next to you. I know when I was enrolling, I did, but that's just another viable option for you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
On it. Yeah.
Were there any
Next one?
employee booklets given out?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Were there employee booklets given out?
There was some stuff that were emailed out to them, but I think the attitude that we need to take is that they got nothing. And the reason I say that is that's a lot. There's this multi-location account, little crappy printers in the back office of some Domino's Pizza. They might have got, we sent some documentation out to those guys, but it was just a quick overview. So they didn't get any detailed information. They got the process, and the process was jammed down their throat, as in mandatory, 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 and this is what to expect. And just a drive-by on the plan, drive-by on the VB, just a drive-by. So, if they need that quick, hey, the 3 elements of a health plan, they need that quick, and they need to know, where they're getting it at and stuff like that. And the minute they know that they don't want it, just move on and don't worry about it. But just give the right reason for the waiver, please. That's all I'm asking. So to answer your question, they don't have any, they didn't get anything. When I say didn't get anything, it was very, very limited. So.
And the MEC plan, I also added the SBCs on that as well. So that's there.
Great crappy coverage right there, guys. But it covers Obamacare, and that's the key here, or Trump care, whatever you want to call it. So if they're looking to just get something, fine. But most of them are going to be either taking the coverage, or they're going to be on a spouse, or they're going to be lying to you too. So can't help that. You can only react to what they say, right, guys?
Exactly. All righty. So pretty much every MetLife product, you're just going to either elect, you're going to waive, and you're going to continue.
So let's talk about that real quick right now, guys. So in I don't have to tell you all about an accident plan. I don't have to tell you about all that other stuff. Here's what I want you to know, what they did know, that the management and ownership is promoting participation in these benefits. And I got asked probably 5 different times, 5 different ways in 3 different meetings about the hospital confinement plan. So when you got that $4,500 deductible, make sure you're positioning that product and tell them how that works with the health insurance. And I think that's going to be it's going to be popular on the upper management side. The 26-year-old's not going to know about it, not going to care about it, not going to want it. But I tell you what, that 26-year-old's not going to have any life insurance. So make sure you're talking to them about life insurance, and those drivers talking to them about accident plans. And this is the trend that I saw from the other company that we did, you guys, with the exact same benefit profile from the exact same carrier. So and I was very pleased and surprised on the critical illness. Now, MetLife's critical illness, you guys, in the grand scheme of things, that's one of the best critical illness products you'll see in the market. It covers a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot. So I would take the time on that and talk to them about locking in that price, that kind of stuff. That should be a sales technique for you. You know, like I said, you guys have all sold accident plans a million times from 15 different carriers. However, you know, make sure they understand that it's on and off the job coverage, and make sure they understand about, you know, getting in that car, because some of those managers are delivering pizzas as well. So especially out there in India, where we're going to have really set the tone, you guys, they are the most cooperative folks, the nicest people, and you know, they'll support us big time, you know, and when we're doing a good job, as I know we're going to do. But I want to take a little bit of time on those. I wanted to show you a little bit of the trends in this particular industry, and what we found out. So a little bit more about the typology of people before we go over to dental and vision, guys, just because it's on my thought process right now. What we're finding in this industry is that these folks are making about 40 grand a year. Some of the higher ups are making some pretty darn good money, but majority of the people you're going to see are going to be making 40,000 a year. They're going to be having spouses that are making another 50 or 40, and really technically they're kind of doing okay. I mean, they're not poor. So pretty happy to see that, because I didn't know that much about the industry, so I wanted to share this with you. But the participation that we did last time on the other company, we had 55% participation in the VB, and the reason being is it was correctly explained. I know you guys will do that, but I'm just doing my disclaimer talk. Correctly explained on how it works with their medical insurance. You know, and even, you know, when they don't have the medical insurance with us, but they have medical insurance, I still want you to take the time on talking to them about how that works. But I think hospital confinement is going to be the big surprise in this enrollment. And I'll be talking to you guys. I'll be doing an email here and there going, hey man, let's check this out. This is what's going on with it. It'll, you know, it just adds to the flavor of what you guys do and keeping you guys informed as well. So really, really kind of a big deal. And what I saw on the last enrollment, I want to share that with you. So go ahead, Ronnie.
Actually, if you can add one more thing, if you could talk to Medi-Cal, because I know that there's some products that, in that case, if they're on assistance, that, you know, they should stay away from, and life insurance they can take. So. Yeah.
So Medi-Cal guys, no hospital confinement. Critical illness, critical illness, you can't do it for Medi-Cal, but you can do accident plans and you can do your life insurance. So it is kind of a limited offering, you know, public assistance stuff, but that's kind of where it's at with that. And it's real simple. You know, I mean, if they're on Medi-Cal, and you're going to run across a bunch that are, life insurance has nothing to do with Medi-Cal, as we all know. So, you know, I'd kind of go that strategy in that direction if I were you on public assistance people. And I'll remind you the first day, man. That's going to be me. I'm the hovering, walk around dude is what I'll be.
By the way, this one, health information, you're not going to have to do anything. Just click continue. Summary. Okay, this is what's kind of important. They do this a little bit backwards on these. I don't like the way they do this, but this is the way it is. And then I guess, Vince, I've spoken to, most of you have printers. I guess there might be one or two of you that do not. But we are required to print out a summary and hand it to the employee when they're finished. And this is the screen you do it. It's before they sign their documents. You see it's highlighted in blue here, print your summary. You can either save it as a PDF and email it to them, which I don't think we were wanting to do. I think we just wanted to just print it and hand it to them. So that's where you would do it. This would show exactly what they should take. Yeah.
Printer's mandatory. So if you don't have one, I know Dave and I talked about that. But printer's mandatory, number one. Number two, printing it out is mandatory. If your printer goes crappy, then we understand, you know, and then we can PDF it and you can email it out. But they need to walk away with something or hot little hands so they can tell all their friends how cool that was. And then whenever people come in, it'll just be a momentous type thing. So that's off the top. Hey, Ronnie, I really, really want to go through. I'm not really worried about dental, you guys. I'm not really worried about vision. You guys all know how to do that, so we won't, you know, we'll let you take a look at it on your own time. But please be knowledgeable, Ronnie. I want to go to the form, the restaurant trust form. Yeah, okay, let's go to the restaurant trust form, you guys.
After you print this out, you hit print summary. It's going to ask you now to sign forms. do this anytime somebody logs in, just in case. You're going to click on Sign Forms. It's going to generate the form. It's actually only one. This is the electronic signature. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in the person's name. Then you're going to click Next, and this is going to be so beautiful, let me tell you. Then you're going to have them sign their squiggly name.
Left click, right,
Next.
Ronnie? Left, hold down. You hold it down on your mouse.
Left, yeah, you just hold it down with the mouse. Or if you're have like, you know, a laptop pad, you do it with your finger, but I'm hoping everybody has a mouse just because it's easier. It asks you to review what you just did. And then here, it's just going to be a click. You're going to apply that signature that you did to all the declinations. By the way, this is the trust form, just so you know. I'm scrolling around just so you can see what it looks like. This is what was created for this particular account. I know I'm going a little fast. Hope I don't make you dizzy. But this is the form, that restaurant industry health and welfare, and it maps all the information. Now, there's a little bit of a glitch right now where it's not doing the checkbox in this section, but don't worry about it. The broker will handle it. We just need to make sure to capture the signatures.
Right.
Yeah.
And guys,
Right
just
here,
real quick, so you'll know how this kind of stuff works. So, if you've enrolled in eCentral before, then you kind of know about the library and all this other stuff. This thing was just put in. eCentral was not even going to put this in. And this particular broker, because they have about 15,000 people in a trust, said that we won't use you if you don't do this. And so they got it in there, and they're still working out the bugs. So the bugs are not on the enroller. Just make sure you're doing your elections correctly. But that is if you're getting somebody that's a little on the picky side, just talk to them a little bit about it. But this is the form that is literally going to go to the broker, who's going to send it over to the TPA, who is administering the trust. And we're trying to get TPAs to come up in a little more in the computer world, and they're just a little behind the times still. So that's what's going on. But I wanted everybody to see this. And when you're practicing on Sunday, if that's when you're going to do it, then take a look at it. Make your elections, and go all the way to the end here, and take a look at this form, because the aftermath, you guys are already done. You're already paid. So all that stuff. The aftermath is on the broker and on us. And we just don't want to say, hey, well, we didn't get 32 people to sign their form, because that's going to go back to the company, and we're going to get those signatures, and then we're going to look like egg on the face. So I don't like egg on my face, and neither does my partner. So I just want to make sure when you're practicing, guys, that we're doing the best. If that's a glitch, first call is to run and tell
yes,
her.
and please know that some of these boxes might not on the medical check off. That's what the glitch is. That is not your problem. What we need to make sure is that the signatures are applied like that.
Big time.
All these signatures, employee confirmation signature required.
And you're not
it'll tell you.
You're just clicking it, and see how it just says test right there? But the fun part, you guys do this all the time. So the fun part with the employee is that left click, hold down, let them run around your little pad to do their signature. They giggle with you about it, and it makes their enrollment experience really cool, because you've done a good job for them. But let's make sure those things are applied onto that form.
And it'll tell you up at the top here, 0 signatures remaining. Now you know you've done, everything has been signed. You're going to go to the upper right. You're going to click Finish Signing. And then I guess you can put your experience if you want. But what you should really do is up at the top right-hand corner, you see this Finish button? Please click the Finish button. That is like numero uno important. Click Finish. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to take you back to this. Guess who this is? This is Test Employee. And by the way, everybody, please use Google Chrome. Eve prefers Google Chrome. If you're using like Internet Explorer or something other, it won't run as smooth, or sometimes might not run at all. But if you use Google Chrome, you'll be fine. The only downside of Google Chrome is it has a wonderful thing called cookies. And because this system was designed in this manner with the employee logins as self-enrolled, they're assuming that whoever logs back in again is going to be the same person. So the computer right now, if you were to hit Manage Enrollment, you're going to be back starting Mr. Test Employee again. So to avoid this, and you can see because the name's going to be in the upper right-hand corner, in this case it says test. So the way to get around this is there's a nice little button on your keyboard called F5. And what you're going to do is when you're done here, you're going to just kind of exit out, hit that F5 button so it clears it out, and then you're just going to go right back to GAFE Pizza. Click on it. Yep, here we go. That was my issue. It's doing exactly what I didn't want it to do right now. Hang on a second. It's bringing me back to Test Employee. We just need to make sure. Okay, you know what? I changed my mind on this. Go to the drop-down arrow and click Log Out. And then that'll take you to the next person. That's going to be easier than the F5. So everybody scratch my F5 thing. After you finish, go to the upper right-hand corner, click Log Out. It's going to take you right here. You're going to type in the next person. Because otherwise, then it's just going to keep on bringing up the same person again. But logging out will solve that problem.
So a lot of you guys that are in the enrollment world, you know, you guys are dealing with Solarix and you're dealing with Kronos and you're dealing with some of these complete HRIS systems that you're agent assisting with. But what I want you to understand, if you haven't done eCentral for a while, it really is, that's why they call it ease, because it really is pretty darn easy, and it's like riding a bike. So if you haven't used it before, I'm asking you to practice, number one. And then number two, I'm really not worried about it, you know, because you guys will know what you're doing. It's just another computer program, and that's what makes good enrollment firm enrollers, because they can adjust, and I appreciate that. So yeah, you'll figure it all out, and we'll giggle through it, and we'll get it done. You guys will write a bunch of premium.
Yeah, and by the way, the reason why it's important also to do log out, not only because it pulls this up so you can start with the next person. If you accidentally kick that manage employee again, it's going to start that last employee all over. And in some cases, that could wipe out the signature, and you'd have to go back down to sign forms. I mean, you could bypass pretty much, you know, everything. You don't have to hit every screen, but just go back and just make sure that all the forms were signed and finished. Because ease will tell me if you have not finished. The one great thing about ease is it will give me a status update. I will know who's finished and who's what they call in process. And 9 times out of 10, if somebody's in process, if it's self-enrolled, it's because the person hasn't decided what they wanted yet. They're talking to the spouse. They haven't finished it. When it's on-site benefit counselor, agent assisted enrollment, it's because something wasn't signed. Something wasn't completed. The finish button wasn't clicked. The log out button wasn't clicked. So just make sure if you're finished with that person that you completely finish with that person. And if somebody comes back to you, make sure you completely finish with them the second time around as well. Otherwise, it'll show in process and those applications will not be signed. And that means that when I pull a batch report at the end of all those forms for the carrier, it's not going to be on there. It won't even, you know, pull up. So just be aware of that. If you're not sure about something, please call me. That's what I'm here for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and create 4 or 5 test employees. I'll assign you each to test 2, test 3, test 4. I will give you the temporary username and passwords. I'll email that to all of you guys probably within the next 30 minutes. And then if you want, you know, feel free to go in there, click on the link, add your test employee, and play around. Just make sure, you know, when you're done to, you know, please waive everything.
So guys, we're running a report every day, and in that report, we're going to see who's completed and who's not completed. We're not going to sit there and scold you saying, hey, you're not doing it. We're just looking for trends. You know, if a particular enroller is not finishing and they didn't finish 9 of them, but we know they're really done, then, you know, that's all we're going to be doing. We're going to be calling you up and saying, hey, make sure that you're finishing these guys, and Billy, Jimmy, and Johnny didn't get finished and stuff like that. I'm not anticipating that from you guys at all. But just like I said, I want to make sure you understand that, you know, what we're doing on the backside, you know, your stuff affects the stuff on the backside, as you guys all know. But I thought I'd give you some direct information on, so you'll know what we'll be doing. So, okay, man. So how about Ronnie? Are you done?
I am done. I am going to create some test employees for everybody.
Okay.
If I can
Well,
send
guys,
out.
hang on, Ronnie. Hang on. How about questions, you guys?
Hi, it's Emmy. I did have one question. The Excel sheet with the employees' information to be able to get them logged in, I haven't received that yet. Is that correct?
I sent
Or was
it
that on the
encrypted.
zip drive?
It was sent in a separate email, encrypted, and it would have come Proofpoint Essentials.
Okay, I will double check, but I just quickly looked through my email right now. I
And
didn't see anything.
get back with her if you don't see it. Guys, we
Okay.
send a lot of stuff encrypted for all the right reasons. You know,
Okay,
so
good.
thanks.
And Emmy, if you're having trouble getting that encrypted email, I can send you the Excel file, password protected. And just so you know, because I had created that also for Jen and Dave, it's going to be capital G for GAFE, G-A-F-E, just capital G, and lowercase a-f-e, and then 2019.
Yeah.
So if
So
just send me an
guys,
email or let me know if you don't get it.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Here's what I would have. You know, I obviously I practice over the weekend. I would make sure on when we're there early enough. You know, we're starting at noon, I think. So I'd get there early enough where everything is up and ready to roll. As you guys know, kind of standard in the industry is a half an hour early. I'll probably be there an hour, maybe 2 hours early, just so I can get a lay of the land. When you show up, I can go over here, you over there. This is what, you know, kind of how it's going to work for the first day. I would definitely get my stuff up on my screen with the appointment setting. I'd get the passwords up, and then obviously you'll have your essential. And I think it's all going to work out for you. It's like riding a bike, man. You know, it might take you a couple times to do. A couple folks a little slower, but after that, you guys the flow will get going, and we'll all be good. So, not really worried about that. Any other questions, you guys?
Yeah, Dave. On the MetLife products, can we get some info on that so we can read up on it? I haven't seen anything as of yet.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice.
Yes, it was sent out to you. You have all the SBCs.
The actual
Which
picture from the company would be nice.
On the MetLife, I haven't seen anything. MetLife.
I sent the MetLife SBCs to everybody. Let me double check here.
Haven't seen them.
I don't think
you
I
guys
saw.
double check your emails. Everybody double check their emails. And Ronnie,
It was
if you just
with
need
the
to
enrollment
resend them,
guideline. Hang on one second. Let me, and by the way, well, I'm gonna, this meeting is recorded. It's a little bit of a process for me to, you know, kind of turn it into like a YouTube type video. So what I'll do is when I send out an email to everybody, I'm gonna send the link. I'm gonna send the spreadsheet again with the password protected. If you got it encrypted, it would not be password protected because I sent it encrypt, but I'll send it again and just know it's the GAFE 2019. And I'll also send you your test employees. There'll be one for each of you. Just use your own, not somebody else's. And
so Dave, we're expecting the hard copies
right here
of those brochures to be there at the site. Now we all know it's kind of a joke in the industry. Actually, last case, MetLife was on time. It was there. It was perfect. So, you know, the broker was responsible in bringing that stuff out there. So those SBCs are in the zip file, Ronnie, you were saying?
it's right. If you're looking at my screen right now, this is the email I sent yesterday. That says, hi all, the broker has not replied back. And this is the zip file. I think Dave and Jen, I also sent it to you guys a second time as individual PDFs, because I guess you guys are having an issue with opening it. That's all the SBCs. You just kind of click on it.
So if it's not your actual marketing brochure,
There it
it
is.
will be the outline coverage, which is way better than the marketing brochure.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for, is the actual marketing brochure that has the one pager that says, hey, this is what you get. This is the wellness benefit or whatever.
Ronnie, I'm not seeing MetLife in there.
No, a second.
I'm seeing Anthem, I'm seeing Kaiser, and I'm seeing we're talking about MetLife here. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, we're looking for the accident.
Oh, you know what?
Critical
Because
illness.
they haven't provided it for me. But what I can do is that I do have something next. I did a cheat sheet. So I will send you what I did for myself for the cheat sheet on the MetLife. So if I have it,
Ronnie, pull the MAR account, MetLife brochures, and send them to them.
didn't we use different versions of the product? We did. We upgraded it, so that won't work.
We upgraded it, but they got to have something in their hot little hand.
I will. I'm going to give you what I created the database with. It's not like the one pager, but it's actually kind of where it's the rate proposal, and it does. I believe it has the benefits in there. So I'll take a look, and if it does, I'll send you that. And Vince, I did request that on numerous
I'm not worried about
occasions,
that.
but I'll send you what I had.
We just
created
need
the database.
something at the time we sat down with an employee as a talking
Oh,
point.
you'll have
not just
stuff
my
there.
face and my voice.
No, we understand that, ma'am. Okay, so first
Okay.
of all, don't worry. Second of all, because the broker didn't hand it over to us, we'll get it over to you this weekend. I can guarantee you. I'll be making a fluster attempt here. So
And they should be sending on site, right,
and then the
Vince?
brochures. Hang on, please. I'm talking. Third thing is those brochures will be there on Monday. So I will make sure of that. I want you to have something in your hand to look at prior to, and that's what they're asking for, Ronnie, prior to,
Gotcha.
so they can look at it. So right now, Ronnie, I want you to send the MAR version over to every counselor, if you would, please. And MAR was the other company, guys, that we did MetLife on. And I'm texting the broker as we speak. So.
Okay.
And
My only concern with that, wouldn't the benefit amounts be different then?
I want them to see the overall structure of the plans, Ronnie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then
Okay,
when they
that
have
makes sense.
brochures, the brochures will have benefit payouts. Let me work with the broker on that. Dave, do you have a question?
yes, on the bonus, the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, it's after we reach the $4,500 threshold, then the bonus is paid.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and on a daily, be very clear about this, you guys, on a daily basis. So you have to hit 4,500 on Monday to get the additional bonus. And I thought the bonus was 150, not 125.
Okay.
So it's either going to be 125 or one. Yeah, that's true. So on Wednesday, if you wrote 4,300, you're out. You don't get the bonus.
Okay.
But it's not going to be an average of 45 a day. It's going to be 45 per day. So you'll get your 300.
24 paydays.
Excuse me.
24 paydays or 26?
26.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Yep, me too.
Okay. Yeah, I got to get to work. I got to get some MetLife stuff that I thought we already had.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
All right,
guys.
thank you everybody for your time. You'll get an email from me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.